Sri Lanka is an island nation located in the Indian Ocean. The illustrious history of Sri Lanka dates back over 2,500 years. In the 16th century, Sri Lanka became a European colony, first under the Portuguese and later the Dutch. 1815, the British gained control over the island and established a unified administration. During the British occupation, they showed favoritism towards minority Tamils, considering them better educated and more cooperative than the majority Sinhalese. This created tensions between the two communities, which escalated after Sri Lanka gained independence in 1948.
The Prime Minister and the Governor-General raised the flag of the new Dominion. After 146 years of British rule, Ceylon joins the British Commonwealth of Nations as an independent member.
Ever since Sinhalese nationalism began to rise. In 1983, tensions reached a boiling point, resulting in a full-scale civil war. The Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam, a separatist group headed by Prabhakaran, sought an independent Tamil state. The conflict was marked by violence, including suicide bombings, assassinations, and large-scale military operations. Lasting for nearly 25 years, the conflict claimed the lives of over 100,000 people, including innocent civilians across the island, and displaced hundreds of thousands of others. After numerous failed attempts to resolve the conflict peacefully, the Sri Lankan government launched a major offensive against the LTTE. In May 2009, the LTTE was defeated and their leader, Prabhakaran, was killed. Since the end of the war, Sri Lanka has made significant progress towards reconciliation and rebuilding, but many challenges remain. Yet, Sri Lankans now cherish peace in their multi-ethnic and multi-religious society.
நான் எனது பேர் கணபதி பிள்ளை கருகாம கணபதி பிள்ளை.
My name is Kadiragama Kanapitapille. I was born in the Puloli village of Point Pedro. I served in government employment as a salt officer. I'm now retired. I'm a father to 3 sons. My elder son was pursuing his university education when he was abducted by the LTTE. My youngest son is employed in the private sector, and my second son is a dancer. He danced for the LTTE leader, Prabhakaran, until the end of the war.
गोविंद राधे राधे
எனது பெயர் கணபதி பிள்ளை கருணானந்தன்.
My name is Kanapati Pillai Karunanandan. They call me Shiva. I was born on the 10th of May 1987. My father served the government. My mother was a dedicated housewife. Bharatanatyam dance is my first love.
Halang kutaka tikutaka dingin tom tad cham.
I started learning the art form at the tender age of 5. I attended Nagarkoil Central College. In 1996, the ravages of the war shattered our lives, compelling us to flee from our home. Our journey brought us to Vishwamadu, a place of refuge where we sought to rebuild our lives. Despite the challenges of adapting to a new surrounding, my dedication to dance remained intense. I found myself gracing the stage of various cultural events. During one such performance, Velupille Prabhakaran, the enigmatic leader of the LTTE militant group, extended an invitation to join their dance troupe. We were a part of LTTE propaganda machine. They requested us to dance at many events to attract children. Idea was clear. They wanted more and more kids joining the movement to hold a gun and go to the battlefield. I feel dreadful thinking of the lives of former child soldiers.
என்னுடைய பெயர் கருப்பையா நவரத்னம். நான் முல்லைத்தீவு மாவட்டத்தில் வசித்து வருகிறேன்.
My name is Karupaya Navaratnam. I am from Mullaitivu district. The LTT's recruitment of child soldiers began in 1987 when they took on the Indian peacekeeping forces. These young recruits were initially part of the LTT's baby brigade. I joined LTTE around 1995. Some joined due to poor economic conditions and the promise of financial gain. Others sought revenge for the death of a family member at the hands of the enemy. Some joined as they wanted to experience the thrill of holding a gun. I was taken to India in a speedboat. A training was conducted at a place called Gummudipundi in Tamil Nadu. I was in a group of nearly 200 trainees. Upon our return to Sri Lanka, we were attached to the LTTE medical wing. In the last phase of war, LTTE cadres behaved like wounded animals. All of us suffered due to their inhuman approach. During the final days, LTTE cadres shot at everyone who tried to take their families to safety. I was crossing the lagoon with my family. They shot me and I lost my leg. It was the saddest day in my life. I have treated thousands of wounded members. I may have fixed hundreds of limbs, but they shot me. They shot me and I lost my leg.
Our teacher, Baby Asiri, was trained in Indian dance. We were a group of 8 dancers under her guidance. We received payment for our performance, a monthly salary of 7,500 rupees. Prabhakaran was critical in his belief that we should maintain our cultural roots even in the midst of an intense war situation. He constructed a permanent dance hall for our practice sessions, along with a hostel for our accommodation. This was the place where we practiced and stayed.
Thalang kutaka kutaka dingin tom tad cham.
This served as my private space, where I stored my dance costumes and lived. We were invited to perform at passing out parades. The pain was unbearable. I wept at these concerts. I knew majority of these kids will not survive. During the war, the LTTE utilized suicide cadres for critical operations, glorifying them as heroes. Prabhakaran even shared a meal with them before they embarked on their missions. I danced in front of these suicide cadres 3 times, and I recall shedding tears during our performances, knowing that they would inevitably lose their lives within a week.
On the 28th January 2007, LTTE political wing leader of our area, Kannadasan, and his assistant, Amuthan, visited our home to take our daughter away to be recruited as a soldier. My husband and I pleaded, and I worshipped at their feet. We were terrified and fought with them. They tied my husband to the neem tree in front of our house. They hit my husband so hard till he bled. They yanked my daughter's necklace, threw it near the feet of my husband, and dragged her away, while we screamed our hearts out. For about 4 to 6 months, we went to several LTT camps in our area, looking for our daughter, but we never saw her. Months later, she came home, just for 4 days. That was the last time we saw her. We got displaced and we were forced to move to Dharmapuram with our other children. One gloomy evening, the militants visited our temporary shelter and handed over to us our daughter's dead body.
I got so furious, I attacked the LTTE members who handed over our daughter's coffin. I tore their red flag and threw the money they offered me. Ever since, our lives changed. My wife attempted suicide several times as she can't bear the untimely loss of our daughter. 13 years have passed since then, and the grief and loss continue to loom over us. Every passing day, we partake in a ritual. We light a lamp, offer flowers, and worship our daughter's photograph and her necklace.
The LTT not only abducted children but also forced them into biting suicide pills if captured. Adela Balasingham, an Australian-born former leader of the LTT Women's Wing, championed this ruthless approach. At passing out parades, each child was decorated with a cyanide capsule garland. Thousands of our children died in vain, while the perpetrators continue to live happily without facing any charges. They are leading content lives.
During the final phase of the war, the LTTE demanded one child from each family to join the battle. We were 3 brothers. My younger brother was still a child, while my elder brother was a second-year university student enrolled at Jaffna University. He agreed to sacrifice his academic life in order to secure my future as a dancer. He was on a journey back from Jaffna University. Tragically, before he could reach home, LTTE members abducted him, dragged him while he screamed. Ever since, my mother's health deteriorated drastically due to the unbearable pain and suffering. After enduring several months of agony, she passed away 31st January 2009. My brother was assigned to the computer section under the leadership of Prabhakaran's son, Charles Anthony. Regrettably, my brother fell victim to a mortar bomb attack exactly 3 months after our mother's demise. This is the exact location where his lifeless body was placed for us to pay our last respect. A profound sadness overwhelms me whenever I pass by this spot. I make a point of visiting this place as often as possible. During the last phase of war, nearly 200,000 civilians were trapped in the no-fire zone. We moved to Valayarmadam village. Both groups were locked in a fierce fight. Nearly 200,000 of us civilians were stuck in the Valayarmadam area. The shelling was intense. We were forced to stay in bunkers to stay safe. I knew that my time was running out. I understood that I might not survive the next few minutes. I wanted to go out while doing something I loved, dancing. I was brave. I left the bunker and started dancing right here, in this exact spot. People yelled and even said hurtful things to me. Still, I kept on dancing. I danced until the sound of gunfire finally stopped. After the war, I completed my degree in Bharatanatyam dance, worked as a teacher for 3 years. One day, a military officer approached me and requested me to join them as the choreographer of the Sri Lankan Army's cultural troupe stationed in Kilinochchi. My father said,
Now that the war has ended, it's important for us to move forward peacefully. Both sides went through difficulties during the war. It's not easy to forget the challenges we faced for almost 3 decades. But we can forgive each other. Forgiveness is possible for both parties. This is what Hindu and Buddhist philosophies teach us. I encouraged my older son to join the LTTE because I wanted to see my second son Shiva dancing. Similarly, I encouraged my second son Shiva to join Sri Lanka Army to serve the nation while preserving our cultural roots.
The memories of the war will take many lifetimes to fade away. The deep emotional wounds I carry will also need time to heal. I believe the best way to heal is to connect with the Sinhalese people, merging our lives together. We as civilians endured the hardships of the war collectively. We have to start somewhere to build a better future. That's why I decided to take on a role. For the past 10 years, I have been working as a choreographer for the Sri Lanka Army. Dancing is my passion. I am known as Prabhakaran's Peacock. I am born to dance. I'll keep on dancing, no matter what, until my last breath.